Okay, so let's just make a nice simple sound with analog. So if any of the terms I'm using here are unclear, you might want to check out some lessons on sound design. I have a whole big class on sound design if you want to check that out as well. That'll go into a lot more detail on all of these things. For now, for this class, we're kind of cruising over the details of the conceptual stuff in sound design and focusing on how to use these tools. But we will go into it a little bit. Okay, so let's start with our oscillator. So I've turned everything off except for oscillator 1. Now I've done this to kind of illustrate a little problem we have when you're designing a sound. I'm not going to hear anything while I'm doing this. So I need to at least turn on this amp so that I hear it. Okay, let's do a nice low sound. Okay, there's my sound. Now one thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a little MIDI clip. Let's make something nice and dark. Okay, so here's some notes. Let's do this. This is just kind of a little like Massive Attack riff. Okay, now let's add all the 16th notes. And let's pull that one down and go right there. No, let's do that. Change my mind. Let's go back to this, but let's stretch all these out to be a little bit longer. Okay. So now we have this. Okay, now I want to go for a bass sound, so let's select all, shift down arrow, drop that down an octave. One more octave, shift down. Cool. Okay, now let's just solo it so we're just hearing that. Okay, so I'm going to stop it for a second. Let's go into our oscillator. Okay, so oscillator 1. We're going to send everything to filter 1. I don't need to detune this at all. Okay, that's cool. Pretty happy with that. Can adjust the volume of this oscillator. The shape, I could make it a square. That's going to make it even buzzier. Let's leave it on a square. I rather like that. Okay, now let's turn on filter 1. Okay, so let's turn our resonance all the way down just for a second. Now if we open our filter where it says frequency, we're going to open it all the way up. That means we're not filtering out any sound. Now what we're going to do, because we're in a low pass mode, that's what that LP stands for, that means low stuff is going to filter through and we're going to start pulling away high stuff. Okay, we're going to let low stuff pass, and as we turn up this frequency, high stuff is going to start filtering out. It's basically going to do that. Okay, where this is high stuff. So let's filter out some of the high stuff. Buzzy stuff is high stuff. It's pretty good. Now a resonance is going to put a little spike right where we're pulling frequencies out. In other words, it's going to emphasize our highest frequency that isn't pulled out. Generally makes that kind of laser gun sound. Cool. Okay, now let's go to our amplifier. We can turn the sound up. We can adjust some panning if we want. Move it left or right. I want to leave it right where it is. Now also on our amplifier here, we can adjust the envelope. Now, this is the envelope. If I click on amplifier, I see the envelope. This is an amplitude envelope, meaning this is the shape of the volume of the sound. So it's going to start right away, and then it's going to go down to this level. If I want this to be more percussive, pull this back and to the left. I want a little bit of sound. There we go. That's pretty good. Cool. Now if I want to make this even like kind of beefier, let's turn on our second oscillator. Okay, let's also use a square wave. And let's detune this one just a little bit. Ooh, look at that. Hear that like weird phase happening? Could take this one down an octave. Ooh, grumbly. That might be too much. I'm kind of into it. This one is going all to filter 1, but let's send it all to filter 2. Okay, let's open this all the way up. Now, filter 2 is going to amp 2, which is off, which is why we stopped hearing it. Okay, let's give it a little bit. I really want to pull out all of this high stuff. Just give us like a really smooth low end here. Is we could change envelope. Okay, pretty cool. All right, so now we have a pretty basic instrument. Let's hear this against this drum loop I've put in here. Cool. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with this sound. Let's take a look at the LFO and what that's going to do for us next.